It's really something. 2 weeks in a row now, we've had references to burdens. Last week, if you remember, it was take up your cross. And those who were not willing to take up their cross cannot be my disciple. Today, it's yokes. The things that oxen had around their necks to kind of pair them together, to be able to steer them and guide them for plowing or hauling or whatever it might be. We talked a little bit about what our crosses are. What about our yokes? And I know that that's something that just begs for some sort of an egg joke, but I'm not going to go there, so please don't worry. Found this reflection just this week. It was written by a woman named Paula Houston. Father Isaiah had just realized for perhaps the 40th time during our long history together that I had been once again playing God. Did I actually confess this? No way. His clue was my pitiful cry, the yoke is not easy, and the burden is not light. This time around, I had convinced myself that I was in charge of sheepdogging the latest political fight in Washington, banning assault weapons, and reversing climate change. My penance sounded pretty easy. After reading several verses on the unfathomable mystery of God, I was to go outside and look at the stars. That's it, I asked him. That's it, he said. You can change the order if you want. Look first, read afterward. I stepped into the black night. A warm wind rattled the oak leaves. At the foot of the mountain far below, the vast Pacific drummed against the shore. There I stood, exposed in all my human foolishness, mesmerized by the sight of the cosmos. Jesus' famous verse can be aggravating when you're feeling crushed beneath the weight of a self-imposed responsibility. The verse doesn't pat you on the back for your good intentions. It doesn't acknowledge that life can be exhausting or offer sweet words of comfort. Instead, it points you silently toward the heavens. It says, "O small, beloved person, it's not all up to you." Maybe our yokes in so many ways are self-imposed. In this day and age, we seem to get so upset and worked up, so polarized and so needing to be set in our ways, that it's not that we get pitted against one another, it's that we seem to pit ourselves against one another. We put the yoke on our shoulders. We choose how heavy we are going to make it. The phrases that Paula Houston used, self-imposed responsibility. I convinced myself that I was in charge of issues going on out there. How much have we gotten used to reacting when people or issues are not our way? Have we, over time and over repetition, gotten used to have something, a little voice inside of our heads say, oh, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be upset. This is where I'm supposed to disagree, so I guess I better do it. And then, I can't understand why everybody always seems to be so upset these days. God offers to us many, many different graces. But maybe there are three that we need to focus on. Asking God, Lord, may I have these in abundance. May I remember to pray for these in the times that I have gotten used to forgetting to pray. And those three graces, Lord, I pray for the grace of serenity. Lord, I pray for the grace of courage. And Lord, I pray for the grace of wisdom. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God, there are lots of things going on that I see on the news, that I read online. Lots of issues coming up with which I disagree. If I stop and look at them, I realize these don't really directly affect me. And I can't do anything about them anyway. But I'm still going to let them upset me, ruin my day. One of my classmates would say, give them rent-free space in my mind. A lot of people today talk about the issues, political issues, and they confess that, yes, it upsets them so much. Yes, they're having difficulty with other members of their family who don't see things the same way. And I ask them, if It upsets you when you go there, and you can't do anything about it other than get upset, then why do you insist on going there? Way back when, in our act of contrition, one of the things that we spoke of was to avoid the near occasions of sin. Well, going someplace that is only going to lead me to be upset or angry or disrespecting others, I call that a near occasion of sin. And if you know that it's going to affect you in that way, then don't go there. The serenity to accept the things I cannot change. There have been other things that have been going on recently where minority individuals and groups have finally been able to say that the way that we as a group are treated is not right, and it's not fair. And it has been that way for a long, long time, and something needs to change. The courage to change the things I can. The courage to come together with others and ask them to help bring about that change. That's much more than just seeing a bad situation and just complaining about it. That's empowerment to move forward, to be prophetic. That's happening nowadays. And that's something that even if it's just by our prayer, even if it's just by taking an honest look at my own prejudices, my own shortcomings, being willing to look honestly and hear honestly what others are going through. Maybe in whatever way I can be part of that change. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. What kinds of self-imposed responsibilities have I found it easy to take on? How much have I fallen into the trap of playing God? How much, when Christ has wanted to say to us, my yoke is easy and my burden is light, and your yoke can be easier and your burden lighter, do we say, no way, God? Maybe it would be good for all of us when we are upset and frustrated to go out and just look at the stars, the vastness of all that God is in charge of, and to be reassured by those words, "O small, beloved person, it's not all up to you." Serenity, courage, wisdom. Please, Lord, wake us up.